Welcome to the Muddy Petties.
The Muddy Petties.
Oh no, wait, we're
gonna go to a pedicure and we're gonna get mud on our feet.
I'm gonna make them do a pedicure while there's mud on my feet.
Yes, that's mandatory. This is The Mud Peddlers, a podcast where two nerdy ceramic artists share the behind the scenes of their worlds of clay. We're your hosts, Lindsey M Dillon.
And I am Donte of Earth Nation.
Today we're going to be talking about selling online versus selling in person.
Yes.
Yes. And y'all probably know that we have talked about extensively each of those things separately, but this is more of like a compare contrast, like, you know, it's during the holidays. Things are just, it is the capitalist season.
It really is the capitalist season.
Every season is the capitalist season.
Look, the other spaces in the world, like China, Japan, everything but America might have invented the thing, but we figured out how to sell it. All right? Okay?
Oh, yeah, of course.
We're real good at selling it as Americans.
We are.
Yeah. I would like to talk about selling in person first,
okay.
And then, because in my mind, and I'm trying really hard not to be biased about this, in my mind, one of them is clearly better than the other. Like, one of them takes less travel and less energy, but it takes more mental finagling, if you will, to like put it together.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay. All right. Well, let's because I think I have a differing opinion on that, because I think I know what you're talking about.
You social potters out there are like, I want to sell in person. I'm like, that's wild. That's wild.
Well, I don't know. All right, well, let's get into it. So
right.
tell me your feelings.
Okay, so that's the end game right there. In my opinion, I'm gonna say opinion. In my opinion, I enjoy selling online far better, especially if you get a place that has a lot of good traffic, such as Etsy, because you essentially don't have to have as much contact with people. Of course, you also don't have to have the travel time, and you don't have to change your tax permit when we went to
Sac Anime
Fanime. Remember Fanime?
Oh yeah.
They made us carry a seller's permit that changes the taxes for what we're selling in that very moment.
Oh yeah, I think so. Well, I think you have to get a sales permit no matter where you sell it. Like if you're selling at an in-person event,
yes,
you need a sales permit, or at least in California.
Right, but in when I went to San Jose, they were like, our city pays different taxes than yours does.
Yes.
So you have to understand that, and we're gonna tax you on that. And I was like, okay, I don't want to do that every year.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that. It's like the less paperwork I have to do, the better I like the situation.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Although online can potentially have a lot of paperwork.
I hate that paperwork too.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So tell me more.
Okay. So selling online is kind of like you have a permanent table, right? You have your own website.
Yeah.
Or even you have a pseudo website like Etsy or something like that,
right,
where it's a third-party website, and you essentially have a pseudo table where I personally on Squarespace pay $100-something every year for my invisible table, in which you buy a product and I send it to you online, which, by the way, I did just restock it. If you're listening to this podcast, there's probably 20 pots left on there.
Ooh.
Maybe. Yeah, my patrons and whatnot essentially pick it first, and then everybody else gets other stuff. But it's way easier for me to have an invisible table where you can buy things all year round, rather than going, I'm going to be at this time in this place for this specific amount of time, for these hours, for this many days. And if you're not getting to me at this time in this place, you don't get my work. Of course you can do both, but I get to watch anime. And I have a heater next to me, I'm with my baby and my wife.
Yeah.
And I'm playing God of War, and I get a little ding on my phone. I'm like, oh, somebody bought something, and I go in there and I inspect it, and I sand down the bottom. If you've ever bought a pot from me, the bottom be smooth, best believe.
Yeah, it is.
And then I package it up and I send it to you, and I put a little dirty note in there, says you look cute today, and then that's it.
Oh, that's adorable. I didn't realize you do that.
This time it was stickers. So somebody on my Instagram, because I had asked, I wanted a little cartoon effigy of me.
Yeah.
Somebody made the cartoon effigy of me, and then I put stickers on the packages. So anyone who bought pots from me this time,
oh my god,
got a little representation of a little effigy of me.
I love that so much.
I know. I'm gonna try to make them into stickers? ?
If you send me the file, I will do that for you.
Okay.
Yeah. Send me the file.
I'm gonna try, but then I don't know if I should sell the stickers or if I should just put them in packages that people buy pots.
Well, maybe
that's for you because you bought something from me.
I don't know. You could talk to the person who who did the art and see if they're okay with it being reproduced and stuff.
Oh, she
all good? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was like maybe a week-long thing. I was like, I really want this. And she's like, done. And I was like, you, Christ. She's like, here's the PDF. And I was like, oh my God, you're so fast.
Dude, that's awesome. Who's the artist?
I have to double check.
Okay.
Because I feel like I always say her name incorrectly.
Oh, that's fair. Okay.
But this goes back to the fact that if you buy something from me online, I can give you little love notes and whatnot. Like I could do little things.
Yeah, that's true.
Dora.
I
always want to say Zora because her handle is. There you go. I'm showing it to Lindsey right now.
Oh, that's cool. Okay, yeah. So her, actually, well, I'm assuming they're a her because they don't list their pronouns. But yeah, so it's on Instagram.
Either way, they got glasses on, so they're automatically hot. I got a thing for glasses.
So on Instagram, if you want to see their art, it's SZILADOR.
And I always look at that handle and go, that looks like Zora to me.
It does. Totally.
That is not what it is, though.
Yeah. Anyway, okay, so you get to put in little love notes.
Little love notes, and it's a better version of control in my area of comfort to have people buy stuff from me and then me send it off.
Yeah.
In my studio, with my space, where I can control everything, but like, even if I went to a table with you, I'd have to plan like hotel and flight and food, and I have to make sure that like I cover you as you go to the bathroom and you cover me as I go to the bathroom, and then I have to be in this enclosed space of these German people. These German people, and then I have to like deal with. I have to mask so hard. and I have to like, oh, is this your pots? And I'm like, oh, yeah. And as if I didn't want to say, like, obviously, duh. Obviously, they're I'm just standing in front of this table because it makes me feel good.
Oh, my God.
Oh, I don't know who made this stuff. It's just, I'm just standing there. The artist isn't here. Yeah, I guess.
Oh, my God.
I'm just watching it for them. And then they have to ask me questions like, oh, so you're a potter. And then I always want to be like, I get you're trying to make polite conversation with me, but it's just as well as asking me, how's the weather in an indoor area? I'm like, I don't know!
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely, like when a person feels more introverted or when like social interaction just takes more energy.
Way more energy.
That is the biggest benefit of selling online.
It's because there's social contracts in place to talk to someone. Like, it's like when someone goes, how are you? And you go, I'm fine. There's no need for that whatsoever in our society. It's almost like saying hello now, but realistically, if somebody's like, how are you? And you gave them your life story for the day.
Oh, yeah.
They'd be like, yo, that's not socially acceptable. Don't do that.
Yeah, no.
So just say good like everybody else.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's like, it's just part of the script of our cultural context.
Yeah, and I think I've gotten to the age, not even the age, just the mentality where I'm like, I'm done with that. Yeah. I don't have to deal with that on online selling.
Yeah.
I don't have to do it. And the worst part, I'm sorry, I'm ranting.
Go for it.
The worst part is that if I ever get to a real, like if I ever drop my like facade of social interaction and I start getting into a space where I want to communicate with you, I start getting into like glaze chemistry and like the platelets of clay are magnetized so that one side is positive and one side is negative. So they basically slide over each other as you wedge, and they're looking at me like, what? What are you talking about? And I'm like, yeah, the covalent bonds of the electron cloud and inside your glaze. And like, what? And then they're like, okay, I'm gonna go. And I'm like, if you didn't want to interact with me, why did you start this facade? Why?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, is it oxidation or reduction? Oh.
Dude, you know you've asked that question. I've heard you ask that question. I've seen you at con or at like public events go up, pick up a piece, look at the foot, touch the foot and go, what cone is this?
Yes, yeah.
And I'm just like, bro.
I'll totally ask that.
Yeah.
If somebody...
Which is fine. Like, I mean, I love when people ask that.
I like when there's a middle ground like that. Because if somebody does that to my pot and goes, what cone is this? I go, oh, I can talk to you on like a realistic level on some level. But like anywhere on the two extremes, like it's really difficult.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're like, I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. The thing about selling online though, which is like, okay, my two biggest beefs with selling online is that like I hate shipping.
You hate shipping?
I hate shipping so
love
much.
Shipping.
Bro, can I like hire you to do my shipping? Because I hate it.
I have a program called Shippo and I click 3 buttons and I send that out and it's done.
Because when I send things out, like the actual shipping of like printing out the label, which, you know, admittedly, none of these things individually take a lot of time.
Yeah.
But it's like, I have to like tape all the boxes. I have to get out my Rand Pack and my, my craft paper that I, use as filler. And I have to, wrap everything. I have to write my little notes. I have to make sure that I don't mix up one note and put it with like the packing slip of another note. And
you need a system. That's like 5 minutes away.
I have a system. I have a system set up. It just, the system feels tedious to me. And I don't like
This is like doing laundry. This is like when people are like, I gotta do my laundry. And you're like, there's a machine that does that for you. And you're like, no, I gotta get the clothes out.
No, that's
and then
not
I gotta tote the laundry thing over to the laundry.
That's totally not true.
And then I gotta put the water in. And I'm like, that's all the same shit, Lindsey.
That's not even true. Because first of all, laundry is mindless. With shipping stuff, it's like if I could just like zone out to podcasts.
You don't?
Let me.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Let me finish.
I'm sorry.
Okay, so if I could just like zone out to podcasts and pack everything and do all that, and it didn't take very long, that'd be fine. But like, I have to make sure that I'm grabbing the right pot. I have to make sure that I'm, it's like I write out little thank you notes, and then I, sure, it's not that complicated, but to me, it's just tedious as hell. And I would rather be at an in-person event where, yes, it takes more energy for social interaction,
yes,
but I can sell 200 pots in 2 days.
That's the max that I like about selling in person, is I sell way more pots.
Yes, and that's the thing. And it's like, okay, so there's like a few different things I'm going to try and pull together in a cohesive statement.
Talk it.
Okay, so when you're selling in person, you sell a lot more pots.
Of course.
Generally speaking.
Positive.
Well, unless, if you have a really, really big audience online, then you can sell as many online as in person. But if you're selling online and you want to sell as many pieces, you have to have a bigger audience. That means having a stronger presence on social media. If you're just starting selling particularly, or you have a relatively small audience, selling online, I feel like you have to put in a lot more footwork to sell as many pots as you could if you just went to the right event over the weekend. Now, again, part of selling at an in-person event and making it successful is picking the right event, because you and I can sell 200 pots in a weekend at an anime convention because those are our people.
Yes.
I would rather have that social interaction and then be exhausted for a couple days afterwards and hermit than like if I had to ship 200 pots, oh my God. Like, if I had an online update with 200 pieces and they all sold, I'd be like, I gotta wrap all those
It's a day of work for me.
Oh my God.
That's a day, so like
legit, I want to hire you to wrap my stuff because I hate shipping so much.
Well, so the way I do it is I look at all the pot, and I'm sure you have your own system, right?
Yeah.
But like, I have a table that's specifically for shipping that is also for like junk, and then I like. Let's say right now, from the podcast, people went to earthnationceramics.com and they bought like 5 pots. When I get home, I'm going to take 20 minutes. I'm going to get those 5 pots out. I'm going to inspect them. I'm going to sand down the bottoms real quick. I'm going to make sure they're good. Blow off the dust. Probably dunk them in water just to make sure they're nice and clean. Yeah. And then I'm going to Rand Pack them, get out the appropriate boxes for them, pack them, print the labels, and then stick them on there and put them outside for my male person. And then when she comes by, I hand her all the pot, and that's it. That takes me like 20 minutes of work maximum. And the entire
For 5 pots?
For 5 pots!
Do you write little like thank you notes?
What I often do is I have like the Dynamo printer.
Yeah.
What I often do is I write because I have horrible handwriting. I write the little notes or I make the stickers in there, and then I just print 5 of those. And then they come out and I stick them in the, and they're also stickers because packing.
Right.
So they, like, if they want a little love note from Donte sticker, it's in there.
Aww.
So that's just how I do that.
Yeah.
But it's
I don't know why it just takes me longer.
I think you just not enjoy, but you can handle the social interaction far better than I can without having like someone next to you. Like I need you next to me in order to be a buffer. For sure.
Interacting socially still takes work. Like I consider myself an introvert in that sense where although it's weird because it's okay. To be honest, this is going to sound a little weird.
No, you're good.
When I feel like I'm at a convention, it almost feels like a performance, and not in like a negative way where it's like I'm performing a different persona, but it's more like I'm so, because I did like a little bit of theater when I was in younger like school, and
I just want you to know you're the only theater kid I've ever liked.
Really?
Oh, I hate them so much.
I mean, I don't think I qualify as like a full-blown theater. Like I did like 2 plays. I wasn't like a full-blown theater
okay,
kid.
all right.
Yeah. But I really enjoy theater.
Theater is the gateway to furrydom.
I mean, so is that a problem, Donte?
I love furries, but I don't like their unevolved form, which is theater kids.
Oh my god. Oh my god. So you need them in their final evolution.
They're near Pokemon.
Oh my god, I love that.
My Discord is full of them.
Hey, hating hella hard.
I promise. I love furries.
If you are a theater kid, enjoy that. Enjoy that. You are loved. Anyway, okay, let me finish.
Yeah,
let me
go
finish
ahead,
my thought, though. Okay. Being at a convention feels like a performance in the sense that I have to be so focused, so in the moment, so present that it's like time ceases to have meaning.
Oh my god.
Like I can, like a whole ass day will go by and I have like, it feels like it could be a week or like 15 minutes.
Yes.
My sense of time is that screwed up because it's like, not in a bad way.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like after each day, I'm exhausted, but by the end of that weekend, I know that I'm gonna have a few days to just chill and relax, hermit, and do absolutely nothing. And I have just sold enough. I was thinking about it the other day. If I picked 3 events a year, 3 in-person events, if I only did those 3 events, I priced my work appropriately, and I actually had enough inventory for all 3 of those events, not thinking about cost of materials and price of going to the convention, I could make $30,000 from those 3 events.
Yes.
Because I made like $7,000 at SAC Anime.
Yes.
This in September. That sounds great, and to not have to ship any of those pots would be amazing.
Yeah,
it'd be amazing. Now again, it's like I would have to obviously because $30,000 is not enough to live in California.
Right.
So it's like.
Yeah.
So obviously I would still need to be doing online updates in between.
Yeah.
But to me, again, I know I'm kind of repeating myself here, but those in-person events, I don't have to do shipping. I am lucky enough that I can go to those events that are close by. Like if I had to fly, there's a reason
I couldn't do it.
There's a reason I don't go to Emerald City Comic Con up in Seattle.
Yeah.
Because the cost of getting all my stuff there would outweigh, at least at this point, would outweigh what I could make in that weekend.
100%.
Yeah.
And then you have to deal with the physical and emotional. I'm gonna call it damage, even though it's not that serious. But I'm gonna call it damage. The physical and emotional damage of like getting on a flight and packing your stuff and paying for shipping on the flight because it's pottery, it's heavy, and then like whenever someone offers me an out of city or out of state person event, I'm always like, either you're comping my stuff somehow or like you're paying for my flight, because like I'm not trying to be out like $2,000 of hotel and flight charges just to like come visit you. There was someone in I want to say Cincinnati. Somebody in Cincinnati invited me to their college. They're part of the Potters Guild.
Oh, that's cool.
And it was like last month, and I was like, I'm not trying to be that guy, but you'd have to pay me like 4 G's.
Oh yeah.
To like, it's like a G for hotel, and then like 500 for food, and then like a G for flights round trip.
Yeah.
Because Cincinnati do be far.
Yeah.
And then like you gotta pay me for going there because I gotta miss work and be away from my baby.
Yeah.
Every morning I wake up at like 7 or 8 a.m. and I clean the house a little bit and I cook food for my wife and I change the baby and then I feed the baby and then I clean the house a little bit. She's not gonna have that service for like 4 days.
Yeah.
You gotta pay me for that, you know?
Right. Yeah, no, and I think that's the reason why for people who do travel and they teach workshops across the country, they get paid adequately to make that make sense.
Yeah.
That's its own whole conversation that we should actually be really interesting to talk to, like find an artist who teach a lot of workshops and talk to them about that. But that's for a future episode.
Matt Katz?
Oh my god.
You hear me, Matt Katz? I'm calling you out. You come on our podcast.
Oh my god.
I'm already taking his classes.
That'd be amazing.
I've already bought his classes.
Does he do workshops? Okay, no, this is...
He does workshops.
No, I was going to ask if he travels to do workshops.
Yeah, well, I don't think he travels, but I think he has like online...
Well, he does them online, but like...
But like he stations them, so I think he has like 2 going on right now, and they're both separate parts of the country.
Right.
And I don't know if he does it in person, but I know that like he sets up a version of himself somewhere to teach a class.
Yes.
And I think Seth Rogen took one of his classes. Of course, Seth Rogen.
Oh my god,
Seth Rogen has become an amazing potter in the past
like
2-3 years.
Glorious.
I know.
Yeah.
We claim Seth Rogen, by the way.
What?
We claim Seth Rogen, by the way. He's a potter. He's.
Oh yeah. Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So reeling it in.
Sorry.
This is, you all can't see this, but I'm like reeling in like
she has an invisible
a fishing rod.
She's Mr. Miming.
Yeah, I am. Anyway, so one thing I will say though, One of the benefits of selling online, though, is that you actually get to sort of, this is kind of a weird way to say it, but like reward your online audience for following you.
Oh, yes.
Because if I only did in-person events, then so many of the people who follow me online and like ask about my work wouldn't have access to my work. And so I think when you get to that point with social media, where you have enough of a following to warrant like selling an online shop.
Can I say that this is going to sound gatekeepy. I really love that aspect. I love that the people that follow me and have notifications on, actually look at my content at least every other day, are getting my work first. Even though it's not like beneficial to my pocketbook as much as it would be for an in-person event or to be on like a larger platform. I love that like the people who actually like me and my work are getting a piece of me at some point first. Because I get so many messages of people are like, I wanted a pot and I looked at your website and they're all gone. And I'm like, oh, that's crazy. Oh, no. Were you not paying attention to any of my posts at all for the last month?
Oh, man. Yeah, as much as I'd like to say that I don't also enjoy that little bit of an ego stroke. And I know it's like it is. And it's like, okay, I'll say for myself, it's 100% ego for me. And I know that it's not good necessarily because, like, admittedly, I've totally been in that position. Yeah. I've been on the other side of that where it's like I haven't been paid close enough attention to know exactly what day, what time their updates are going to drop, and I've missed work because of that.
Right.
So it's like there's nothing wrong with being on that side because realistically, part of selling online is to lower the number of barriers there are to someone purchasing your work.
That is fair.
Like, as someone decides that they want your work, ideally, you want to make it as easy as possible for them to then, like, if that's point A is them deciding they want to buy your work, and point B is buying your work, like they have clicked checkout and they've purchased the thing.
Yes.
You want to have as few steps in between there as possible.
Of course, yes. Access, and I was talking to my sous chef Jackson about this the other day, and America in specific does a fantastic job of making things ease of use over necessity. Like,
okay, that's a pretty big. I feel like anytime you mention a country, it's like, okay, Dante's about to make a big ass generalization.
Hear me out.
Okay, all right, whatever. Go.
Hear me out. If I can sell you an item that you don't need, but you kind of want it, and it's super easy to get,
dude, literally everybody does that. That's capitalism.
That's us, though.
It's everybody.
That's like us in China.
Oh my God, Dante. That's literally the entire world is like selling things that we don't maybe like. Yeah. You could say that we don't need this boba that we're enjoying here.
Why would you say that?
Because I don't know. I'm sorry. We do need this boba.
I need coconut milk tea to live.
It's actually been a while since we've had boba. I'm kind of excited.
I've been tracking calories for the past 6 days, and this is like 500 easily.
I'm really glad.
And I can maybe reel it down.
Okay.
On the generalizations, but I will say, from a marketing point of view, you're right. It's always better to make it easier for someone to get an item.
Yes.
Because at a certain point, even myself, if I really want something and it's difficult to get it, no matter the cost, I'm just gonna be like, I don't want to do it.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's why I was watching a documentary on Amazon, and they were talking about the majority of their sales are with the buy it now button.
Yeah.
The high majority of their sales.
Yes.
And they're just like, we don't really care what we're sending. If you could buy it immediately in a singular 1 or 2 clicks, you're gonna get it. And that's just honestly the key to selling stuff, is to make it the easiest you can get it to be for people to buy things from you.
Yeah.
Regardless of what it is, realistically. It doesn't matter if they need it. It doesn't matter if how much it costs. Because someone out there is going to buy it. It's just making it easy.
That's actually one of the benefits in a weird way about selling.
And America's really good at it.
Yeah. Oh my God. Everybody's really good at it. But yes, America is good at that. I can't disagree, but I'll say that America's not the only one. What I will say is that is one of the benefits, too, of selling in person, is that you get to take advantage of that temporal element of selling.
Yes.
In that, like, you were at that event in that moment.
It's in front of you.
It's right in front. You're able to touch it. Like, that's the other thing, is that, especially if you're you know, like I'd say overall the biggest benefit of selling in person at at the right event is that you can expand your audience immensely because they're able to see your work, you're in that moment, they can pick it up and hold it. And for someone who's maybe been following you for a while and knows that you produce quality work, you know, they've seen the reviews, they've, you know, however they go about it. But if you're showing your work to a completely new audience member, the likelihood of someone who is just finding your work, buying it immediately online versus in person, I don't have the data to back this up, but I feel like new clients tend to buy in person faster. You can take advantage of that impulse buy, which I feel a little bad about sometimes because I'm like, ooh, am I taking advantage of the whole impulse buy serotonin dump thing? I mean, I don't know, or dopamine, whichever it is.
I mean, don't hate the player, hate the game. Honestly, if you're like, ooh, I hate impulse buying and the serotonin it gives me, and then and then I put the item in my garage and I don't touch it for years on end. I just spent money out of nowhere, and then you complain you don't have enough money. If you're part of that crowd, I know there's problems mentally, physically, emotionally that people have that can't get past this problem. But
there's actual addiction, which is a thing.
Right, of course, yeah, and I understand those things. But for those of you that can, master yourselves. Master yourself.
Oh yeah, just
please.
make it easy. Just master yourself.
And I know it's difficult. Sugar addiction can't be kicked because a lot of us, including myself, have it, and sugar's super addictive. Yeah. But at the same time, if there's a seller out there taking advantage of my sugar addiction, I don't know if it's 100% that guy's fault. To a certain degree, I could just, I don't know. This gets finagling when it comes to actual drugs, but sugar, it's maybe try to reel it back a bit.
Okay, all right.
I don't know. Do something to help.
It's hard to make the comparison with sugar and potentially addictive substances.
Like alcohol.
But but I hear what you're saying in terms of in general, as we've kind of discussed, the whole system of our economics is based around. Okay, now
damn near addiction.
I'm making generalizations, but when you're saying
they're mostly true though.
I was gonna say companies like Amazon is they make it easy to buy your work, and so it's that's. Anyway, so reeling it back into for us and our experiences selling online versus selling in person.
Yeah, I mean that kind of ties into it. Yeah, our job is to do essentially what Amazon does. Yeah, which is to make it easy for you to buy. They're very closely connected. Yeah, and what you were saying is I think having an in-person event, if you are a person and you are there and you are physically there and you are in a room called Artist Alley and you are there to buy an artist's work. Yeah, that is the easiest thing you can do because it is easy. It is as easy as picking it up, handing someone little numbers on a card, and then transferring those numbers to somebody else's thing that has more numbers than yours, probably, and then, that's it. That's as easy as it gets. Yeah. Because you're already there in person. That is the easiest way to do it. And that's a major benefit of selling in person. Yeah. But, oh, go ahead, sorry.
Well, I was just thinking online, it's interesting to see some of the different ways that various companies have tried to make selling online easier. I think about with Instagram, for instance, they have the whole Instagram shopping thing where for people who follow your work online, you can have an Instagram shop that is linked to your website. So it's still, my understanding is that it still all happens, because I haven't used it, but my understanding is that it still all happens within the Instagram app. Yes. But you're able to link up that shop to your own website. Yes. That's actually a little side note. One of the downsides, and I know we said we weren't going to talk about this, but I have to mention this, is that if you have an Etsy, you can't link, at least as far as I understand right now, you can't link your Etsy shop to Instagram's shopping feature, because you have to own the site to, you can do it with Shopify, you can do it with either of us. We have Squarespace, for our online shops, but with Etsy you can't do that.
Yeah, I imagine they're kind of not fighting, but they're not the same business.
Right, right. So there's so many different ways to lower that barrier for selling online. You can post the links now, which was a huge. When Instagram opened that up to people who have under 10,000 or who have fewer than 10,000 followers, made a huge ass difference. Yeah. There's little reminders that you can set. So when a shop update happens, you can, your followers can click to, get little reminders and stuff.
Yeah, I put it on my stories all the time on Instagram. Yeah. And of course I'm missing. I tried to go on Twitter, and I unfortunately started doing Twitter more often.
right as
the thing happened, and I was like, and then Kanye happened, and I was like, I'm done with Twitter.
Yeah.
Too many bad omens.
Yeah.
Going on. For astrology and like crystal people.
Oh, right.
They start doing a new thing, and then like a bunch of omens happen. They're like, nope, not doing that thing anymore.
Mercury's in retrograde.
Yeah. Mercury had too much Gatorade. That's
Mercury too much Gatorade.
That's what happened to me. I was like, Kanye went down, and then I'm good. Yeah. That's not a good omen. I'm just gonna stay away from Twitter for a bit.
Yeah, that's fair. Fair. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
I think for the in-person event, you could. Well, I'm always afraid, and this is one of the major reasons I always have like a buffer like you around me whenever I go to like super big social events, especially in the pottery world, is because like I'm constantly in a state, and you can say it's trauma, and that might be a somewhat valid argument, but I think people use the word valid as true or correct, and I don't know if that's real. I don't know if those are synonyms, my guy. But simultaneously, I have learned throughout my life, or it is ingrained in my brain, that like there's constantly a facet of danger, or if anyone talks to me that I don't know personally, they want something from me. And so I'm constantly have this like shield around me of like, I don't want any of it.
Yeah.
I hate advertisements. I hate when random people, like when I was a kid, I walked on the street and somebody was like, hey! And I'd be like, nope. And I would either keep walking or I'd have to get real aggressive.
Yeah.
So I'm always afraid that in-person events, my social politeness mask will go down at the drop of a hat.
Yeah.
Like, if you're not there to, like, intervene, I would be like, oh, yeah, it's nice to meet you, yeah. And they would say something rude, and I'd be like, oh, we're being rude. Okay, it's my turn now. Like, my mask would immediately drop.
Yeah.
And I think having a buffer around me of people that are a little more polite than I am at the drop of a hat is better for me and my business.
Yeah.
Because when I was a kid, people would say something and I just wouldn't respond. I'd be like, well, you're gonna get hit now. Like, I would just go.
Yeah.
I'd be like, you said something rude and I didn't like it, and you did it to the person I like, and now we have problems together.
Right.
And this is where it's going, and you won't do that again. I promise you will understand that. But like, I don't like in-person events just on a personal level for part of that reason.
Yeah.
Because I get like, not aggressive, but I will get rude at the drop of a hat when someone is rude first.
Right.
Like when someone like, this is a horrible example, but like if you were in a fight and someone pulled out a knife, that in my brain means like, oh, I can pull out the gun now.
Oh.
Like you made it okay. You were rude first. You made it okay to go here. Don't clutch your pearls now. How dare you? You made it this way. You started this, and I will finish it. So I like having a buffer, and in-person events are just like the gateway for that masking to go down.
Yeah.
And so online, it's very easy for me to never have enough interaction with people to where I don't have to deal with that.
Yeah.
You know I
think that makes a lot of sense. And like, I think what's nice is that because people can be successful both at in-person and online events.
Yes.
Like, you get to, as an individual artist, you get to make that decision about like, okay, what suits me best? Like there's, because I think in general, people can be successful at both. I think there are some outside factors that can determine whether selling online happens more easily versus selling in person. Like if I lived in the middle of nowhere, it would be more difficult to do in-person events that would be successful for me. But
John's a great example of that. He lives literally in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
He's massively successful.
Yeah, because he sells really well online, and he sells his work, and he has the coffee shop, and dude's like killing it.
He goes.
Yeah, he do. He go. Yeah.
I also always have this fear that in in-person events, you're going to get to know the real me, and that's going to be the gateway towards like, oh, I don't really like you.
Aw.
Yeah, and I don't know, there's, especially as a social media or a content creator online, there's this persona. I try really hard not to have a persona.
For sure.
But there's this persona, this perception that people have of you.
Yeah.
That they put in their minds if they don't know the real you. And when you get to in-person events, that is torn down once you have real interaction with them.
Yeah.
And I'm always afraid that someone's going to meet me and be like, oh, you're nothing like what I thought you were. In fact, you're a less likable version of what I wanted you to be in my mind. And that is not my responsibility at all.
Oh, yeah. I'm glad you're saying that, because I was about to be like, That doesn't matter though, Donte.
That's not on me.
It's like, yeah, it's really not.
Your perception of me has nothing to do with the actuality of me.
Yeah.
At all. But I will say, there is in a more meta sense, a fear of like someone who's gotten to know me over like the course of 3 or 4 years online has never met me, and then they get to know me and they're like, oh, I never really liked your work. And I'm like, no, it's not that you didn't like my work. It's that you tied a fictitious version of me in your head to my work, and you wanted to buy my work because you thought we were great friends. But realistically, when you meet me, you're like, oh, I don't like you. You're not someone I would get along with at all. And I'm like, yep, I'm glad you know that now.
Yeah.
I've been telling you that for years. I've been online telling you that for years. And now you believe me because you've met me.
I think I will say, I think that whole tying of the fictitious version of someone with their product, I think that happens a lot. Like, I think in a weird way, and not that that's necessarily always a bad thing, but it's just recognizing that, like, on the user end of that, and again, this might be, saying the obvious here, but, like, recognizing that, like, the version of someone that we see online is only one aspect of their personality.
Rarely.
Because I do think that there is really great value in time, like how do I say? Again, I'll bring up this example, but
there's marketing value in being likable, I guess.
Well, not so much that. I mean, yes, there is. There is 100%.
Yeah.
But also, like, I think part of the reason that people buy somebody's work is not just for the work themselves, but for the association with that artist.
Yes.
And I don't think that's a bad thing. I've bought work that from artists who maybe their style wouldn't necessarily be my thing, but I like the person and I want to support that person, so I buy their work.
That's a bit of a fear of mine as well. So while I have the fear of someone liking my work and then meeting me and being like, oh, I guess I don't really like your work, I just liked you.
Yeah.
And that made me like your work, I guess. I have the opposite meta problem as well, where I think, oh, you only like my work because you like my personality so much. Like, what if you meet me and you're like, dude, I love you more than I liked you online? And then my brain goes, and then you're like, oh, but I want to buy all these cups and mugs. And then I'm like, oh, you just like me a little too much.
Why is that a bad thing?
It's not a bad thing for personality, but in my mind, I'm like, oh, you don't like my actual work. You just like me and you want to support me doing my work. You know?
Why is that less valuable than someone liking your work?
Because my brain goes, either you like me or you like my work. But in a perfect world, you would like a mixture of the two.
I think that's usually what ends up happening.
I hope that. That's why I call it a fear. Is because I hope someone doesn't like only my work and then meets me and goes, oh, I don't like you, I just like your work.
Oh,
but I tied the two together.
Yeah.
And then I also, on the other spectrum, always want someone to go, I like your work. I mean, I like you, you're all right. But I like your work more than I like you, and I'm buying your work for the quality of your work.
Yeah.
Not for the quality of your personality. And I'm always afraid that, especially in an in-person event, that field is going to be broken down.
Yeah.
And they're going to meet me and be like, oh, my misconceptions of you were just that, misconceptions.
Yeah.
You know, but online, you watch a YouTube of me, I package that stuff up, I send you a little in the mail.
Oh,
and
yeah.
You open it up and, you know.
You go, yay!
You watch an episode of the Throw With Me, little chill time relax video I post, and then you drink it, and then that's it.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
I do got to do, you're right in that I do have to do some more in-person events, though.
No, I wouldn't. I don't think you do.
I'm gonna do one.
Okay, I think do like
I'm gonna do one.
The reason that I get excited about the prospect of you doing in-person events is mostly just that we'll be at the same event together, and that's like that. It's totally selfish. Like, I think if you never wanted to do an in-person event again, I think that'd be totally fine. Because again, you have the audience for it. Okay, because part of me wants to leave the audience with a couple different like solid takeaways. And in my brain, like summarizing some of this, I think if you are relatively new to ceramics and you don't have a lot of experience selling your work, in my brain, you can think about this two different ways. You can think about, okay, if you have access to an in-person event that you think maybe it's the right audience, maybe you're not sure, going to an in-person event is a really good way to begin to grow your audience, to talk with your potential audience, get a sense of, maybe get some feedback. Like, for instance, when I sold at Sinister Creature Con, which was the first, I think if I remember correctly, was the first like convention I ever sold at. One of the biggest things that people told me is they picked up my cup and they're like, oh, I really like the design, but it's too small. Don't say anything. I know you're going to be upset. So many people said that about my work that I thought, okay, well, this maybe I should just try, experiment. Not that this has to be all that I make now, but try making slightly larger cups and see how that goes. So in-person event gives you the opportunity to talk with a potential audience, to get kind of like to put your feelers out if you're new to ceramics. However, if you're new to ceramics and, you're less inclined to do an in-person event, the benefits of selling online is that your efforts that you put into your social media account can directly be tied to your success in an online shop. And again, you don't have to start out with having a website shop. You can start out with like a Shopify or with Etsy or something like that. And that can give you a way to access the kinds of customers that you think are going to be potentially a good fit for your work without having to maybe travel to do that or to put yourself in a situation where you're having to be in social situations that you don't want to be in. Now, I think if you're... Sorry, I know I'm just kind of like going, but I'm just like, here's my thesis statement.
You're fine.
Okay.
I ramble, you ramble. I think this podcast is us taking turns rambling.
Pretty much. Sometimes we get a good back. I think we have a pretty good back and forth.
We have good energy.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
You good?
Okay, I'm good. I'm great. Everything's fantastic.
Okay.
Okay.
We've had an exciting day.
Yes, we have. We have. There's so much that happened before we turned on the recorder.
There's a lot that happened.
Yeah. Okay. So.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
I know. I'm so freaking hyped. We may be making a Night Peddlers episode about that. Also, I actually have to start the Night Peddlers podcast thing. But anyway, so if you're more experienced with selling your ceramics, selling your work, I think the benefits of selling at an in-person event is that it can be a quick way to reach audience members that may have had a harder time finding you online. Like, again, it's just like, it's a nice little boost to the number of people that know about your work. You can take advantage of like impulse buys. You can, not that should be like the main goal, obviously, you want to show your work.
You want sugar? I got sugar. You want sugar? I got sugar. You travel to Ceramic Con, you get some sugar.
Sugar.
Yeah.
And selling online, again, I think the biggest thing with selling online is that like, oh man, like sometimes social media feels like such a chore to me personally.
It is.
Yeah.
I feel the same.
Yeah. So selling online gives me a reason to do more social media work because it's like, I know the more work I put into like promoting myself and my work on social media is going to be directly or is more likely to be tied to more sales.
One gives you content for the next.
Yes.
And then that cycle. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I feel the same way. We're like,
yeah. So, wait, crap. Sorry, one last thing.
No, go ahead.
Other major downside, though, of selling in person is your booth setup can be a complicated process.
Can be ass.
It can be really like...
Ass catch 'em, dog.
There are ways to do it that are like relatively low effort.
Yeah.
But if you want to have a really like personalized, customized kind of setup, that can take more effort and there's a larger... Selling in person is going to have a larger upfront cost potentially than selling online. Like you can put stuff on Etsy for like 30 cents essentially. Like that's the listing fee, right?
Yeah.
And so that anyway, that's just the last little like major downside of selling in person. If you're new to selling your work, that can be a bummer, is like having to invest in the materials for a table setup.
Well, it's also you can kind of cut the cost of being in person versus online if you do stuff that's around you. So like we live in Sacramento.
Yes.
So if we did like 2 or 3 tables a year in Sacramento, that's more beneficial for immediate based on how many pieces we have in our clientele and whatnot.
Yeah.
Versus like making an online shop and just waiting for it to trickle.
Right.
Like right now, people who buy my work are people who know about me, right? Who wait for my online updates. Who go on my Instagram bio and see like here's my shop update, here it is.
Yeah.
Or YouTube or XYZ. But in person, you're right, you get a much larger batch of new clientele because you're there physically. People came to the thing to see the thing, and you have the thing, and they're going to buy the thing.
Right.
They're there for the specific purpose of catching a fish, and you're a fish seller.
Yes.
You don't have to make it yourself. I got it for you packaged.
Yeah.
Right, and you're right about that. I got to do more. I got to do a couple in-person events. We're going to be at SAC Anime, though, right?
Yeah, we are.
We're going to be at SAC Anime. That's going to be my in-person event.
Yes. So we're not for our dear listeners, we're not tabling together. Like, I'm going to have my own table, and then, Donte, you're going to be with T-Cozy, right?
I got pressured.
Invited, pressured.
So basically, like, they were like, oh, you want to share a table? We're going to go to Sec Anime, because they're really going hard on, like, the anime angle.
Yeah.
And they're like, you're already the anime guy. Let's just get you in here. Mm-hmm. And then you already have your own table.
Yeah.
And so, like, for a while, I was like, no, I'm good. I'm going to do a store update, and, like, stuff might sell. You know, it'll be okay. And then, like, a couple weeks later, they're like, you sure you don't want to? And I was like, no, because an Artist Alley table is like $200, $300, and yours is like $700. I'm good.
Yeah.
And then they kept asking, and I was like, you know what? Yeah, I'm just, yeah.
Yay!
I'm just going to say yeah.
Peer pressure. Peer pressure. Speaking of which, have you put up the video of the unboxing?
Of what?
Of the Tea Cozy avatar set?
Oh yeah, that's been up.
Oh good. Okay.
For at least 2 weeks. I sent it to them and everything.
Oh good. Okay, I wanted to make sure. Yeah. So if our dear listeners, if you did not see this, we did an unboxing video for Tea Cozy for this absolutely incredible
great
Avatar: The Last Airbender tea set. So if you haven't seen that yet, go check it out on Dante's YouTube.
Also, I put up a video right after that, like a week after, of me making all of the cups.
Oh, that's hella cool.
So I was like, somebody was like, how'd you make all those? What are the silk screens and whatnot? And I was like, I'm just going to show you how to do it.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go through the process. So there's technically 2 videos to the unboxing. There's the actual product that Tea Cozy hired me for, realistically. And then after that, it's me making all of them.
Right. Except I made half of them for that first set.
Yeah. First set was half, second set was me.
Yeah. Because I had too much other stuff on my plate.
We have so much stuff.
We got a lot.
No more stuff.
We busy.
So like people on Instagram will ask me or Lindsey to do things, and like especially if you know the podcast, we come as kind of like a package deal sometimes.
Oh,
but
we're like 2 little balls in the same little sack.
Don't say this.
I'm sorry. I had to.
I just one always hangs lower than the other. Anyway, but because of this, because of the popularity of the podcast and just the YouTube channel and whatnot in general, me and or Lindsey will get offers for both of us to go do a thing. Mm-hmm. And so this year there's like 3 big things that we're doing together, and it's like, I don't think we're doing any more things. I think I got like the table, the thing, and one more thing. On top of like the baby and the channel and the cooking for the wife and my 9-to-5 job, and
I still can't believe you work a 9 to 5, dude. I mean, it's not actually 9 to 5, but you know, I still can't believe you have a full ass job on top of everything.
They're gonna be so mad this year. I might, because of all the pottery things I'm doing, I might actually have to be like, I just can't work Thursdays anymore.
Yeah.
And they're gonna be like, yo, you can't quit, bro. You hold like 10% of this bitch together.
Oh my god. Yeah, you do.
Have you ever heard the theory that like 70% of the work is done by 30% of the workers?
Yeah, that's
okay.
Yeah.
That's really true.
I 100% believe that.
And it's,
well, you know what I think we should do? I think we should end this episode, and I think we should do a Night Peddlers episode. And I swear to God, I'm going to get the Night Peddlers set up on its own separate channel so that patrons on my Patreon, patreon.com/Lindsey M Dillon.
The Mud Peddlers do have a Patreon.
Yeah, we do have a Patreon. I mean, it's like me, it's like my Patreon, but like
you get Mud Peddlers content.
Yes.
For me, it's like you get more YouTube content and you support me. For her, it's like you get more Lindsey content, you get more Mud Peddlers content, and then you support Lindsey. Like, that's essentially
Yeah. I would say I'm like still a primary thing. Like, cause most of what I post is like my writing, my behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah.
And then cause I've had the Patreon for like a year? No, not even a year. It's been since like January.
Yeah.
So ultimately what I want to do is like have more of the Mud Peddlers content. So that'll be like the Night Peddlers.
Yes.
And but anyway.
The Night Peddlers is just an extra dirty version of the Mud Peddlers.
Yeah, pretty much.
This next episode is about to be lit.
Oh!
We're holding a lot of stuff back right now.
Yeah.
We're very excited.
All right. Well, hopefully I will try, because this episode's going out like today.
Yes.
Or maybe like tomorrow. This week is so busy.
This week do be busy though.
So busy. Anyway.
All right. Well, we'll see you guys later. Put your pants back on.
Yeah. Put them pants on. Or take them off.
Or leave it off. Just like whatever.
Walk outside in full glory. Don't walk outside in full glory.
If you do it to my voice, like, I'm not going to kink shame you.
Oh my God. Oh, Jesus.
I don't like my voice, but that's not a me thing. That's
Dude, you got a nice ass voice. What you talking about?
Oh, yeah.
And that's it for today. Thank you for listening to The Mud Peddlers with Lindsey M Dillon
and Donte of Earth Nation.
Want to say hi and see what Donte and I are working on in our studios? Check out the show notes for links to our websites and social media below. You can find me at lindseymdillon.com. That's LINDSEY, M as in monster, DILLON.com, and on Etsy, Instagram, and Facebook at Lindsey M Dillon.
And you can find me at Earth Nation Ceramics. It's spelled exactly how you think it's spelled, but you can also find me on my Facebook fan page and Instagram at the same name at Earth Nation Ceramics.
If you enjoyed hanging out with us today, or you have a question or topic you'd like us to discuss, take a second to rate and review the Mud Peddlers in Apple Podcasts. It helps our podcast reach new listeners, and we really appreciate the feedback. Thanks again, and we'll catch you next time.